Great. So have some space. First thing we're going to work on that hinge as we like to do. So right in your hips, pushing your hips back as far as you can. We're to extend that hamstring, try and get that back as parallel to the ground as possible without folding it. All right. So no rounding of our back, nothing like this. Nice and flat. Push those hips back. Feel that stretch in those hamstrings, and pull it back up. Squeeze those glutes. One more time. Push those hips back. Extend those hamstrings. Make sure those abs are pulled in nice and tight as well. All right, no excessive rounding of that, arching of that low back, and pull it back up. Cool. If you have your Superman, you can grab that. If not, don't worry about it. Don't use it. You're going to put over your right shoulder. You're going to put your right foot into it. All right, so it's on the right shoulder, right foot, stepping down on it. All right, so this is just creating some tension for you. If you don't have the band, you don't need to do the band part, but you're still going to do the exercise. The band is there to prompt you to push away. All right, so we're going to do some RDLs, single leg RDLs. That right foot is going to kick back. Okay, if you start to slack that off, it's going to get real weird, real wonky. All right, so kick that leg out, keep that tension. That's going to help you keep that back nice and flat. Keep that tension going through that back heel. All right, pulling that up. We're going to go 4 on this side, kicking that leg back. Again, if you don't have the band, you're doing the same exercise with the same cue, kicking that foot back, but you're just not going to have that tactile feedback. That's going to be just fine. All right, one more time, kicking that leg back nice and strong. Hold there, find your balance, and pull it back in. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. Onto the left shoulder, kicking on that right foot, or that left foot. All right, so it's the same shoulder, same foot. All right, so everything's squared up to the front, kicking that foot back, nice and strong, and pull it in. All right, so this would be a good indicator if we're rolling that back. All right, got a lot of space in here, right? Kick that leg back so that band is in contact with my glutes, is in contact with my hips, with my shoulder. All right, so that band is as tight as it can be to my body because I'm keeping that leg nice and straight, keeping that back nice and straight. All good tactile feedback on this RDL. One more time, kicking it back nice and strong, find that balance, and pull it up. All right, you can drop that band. All right, I'm going to take, you can use that same band if you'd like. I have a little bit of lighter one here. We're going to do some pulled parts. So we're going to double overhand grip on the band. All we're going to do is pull this. We're going to squeeze that upper back together and relax. All right, we're going to pull that band apart, squeeze, 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 and relax. We're going to go 2 more times on this one, pulling that band apart, nice and tight, and relax. Last time. Pulling those shoulder blades together. Notice my shoulders aren't by my ears. I'm nice and strong, pulling down and relax. All right. We're going to take that arms out nice and wide. We're going to get some shoulder circles going on. Just make sure we got a good bit of arm work today. So a little bit bigger as we go through. Trying to keep, again, those shoulders away from those ears. And we're going to take it backwards, big circles going backwards. And then getting those a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, and relax. All right, so you should feel some space between those shoulders. We're getting there. All right, we're going to take that same hinge here, but we're going to work to bend those knees, dropping into a good deep squat. We're going to grab those toes, lift those hips up high. Think about kind of stepping on your hands, trying to pull your shoulders out of socket if you can. Don't actually do it if you can. Drop those hips back down. We're just working to kind of create space between those shoulders. A little bit of an active stretch on the shoulders and the low back, as well as those hamstrings. So go ahead and sit back down. Try to open that chest up nice and tall. One more time, bring those hips up. Create space in those shoulders, and let's roll it up. All right, let's go ahead and get started with what we have going on today. So we have 5 different movements. We're going to start with those pull parts that we just talked about. I'm going to show you all 5 movements, and then we will kind of get into it, okay? Pull parts like we talked about, the exact same thing that we just did in our warm-up. You're going to pull those apart, squeeze that back, and relax. All right, if your band is not heavy enough, you can double up your band and try to do it this way, okay? We want to be in control through all these movements. We want to make sure that we are focusing on the quality of our reps, because we're just going to do a limited count of reps on these. All right. With that same band or your super band, whichever band you have, we're going to do some overhead squats. So just take this band. We're going to create some tension pulling on that band. That's going to go right above our head right here. Feet are in squat stance. And we're just going to drop into a good squat, okay? If you notice from the side, all right, my quote-unquote bar is right above my shoulders, all right? I'm not way back here. I'm not over my head, all right? If I were to kind of drop that right to where I would back squat, okay? That's going to be where we're situated for our overhead squat, all right? Working a little bit of shoulder mobility, some thoracic mobility, and our squat. All right, so we'll drop the bands. We'll take up our heavier weight. Next movement is what we call a curtsy squat. So I'm going to stand on my left foot. My right foot is going to go back and to the side. Okay, I'm going to drop that knee to that heel and bring that back up. So think about this as a modified single leg squat. Knee, heel, stand back up. All that weight is on that single leg as I single leg squat. Okay, so we'll do that both sides. Next movement, you have your choice of equipment here. If you have lighter dumbbells, if you want to do dumbbells or the band, or do some back work, some strict rows, or some flies, again, depending on your resistance. So standing on your band, can you see this? Standing on your band, I like to cross the band, so I have a little bit better range of motion on these. And we're just going to do a strict row, or if you have a little bit lighter stuff, all right, a fly. Keep those arms long. That's going to be really heavy for me, so I'm just going to stick with that nice tight row. Okay. On these, we want to make sure those shoulder blades again stay down. All right, and we're pulling those hands back to those hips. Okay. We're not pulling up. We're pulling back. Okay. Very important we keep that hinge as well. Okay. Our final movement is going to be with that light weight. If you don't have a light weight, you can skip the weight altogether. This is going to be a weighted lateral plank. Okay. How's that going to work? So we're going to get onto our side here. We're going to get our weight above our shoulder. We're going to get our side plank position and press this up. Okay, this weight being so extended up overhead is going to challenge us to make more micro adjustments in that stability. If you want to, we can even go and rotate that weight back and forth for even more challenge. Okay, so again, we'll do that on both sides as well. Ready to rock? I sure am. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to grab that band. We're going to start with some pull aparts. Okay, you can test out a few different ways if you want to. We'll make a couple passes at that, so if you start off too light or too heavy, we can make adjustments as needed. All right, so we're just going to go for 8 here. So we're going to get those arms nice and straight. We're going to pull these apart. We're really going to squeeze that back together and bring these back in. All right, so what we're looking for here, so it talks about those shoulder blades getting squeezed together and keeping that tension as you pull. All right, what we do not want to happen is we don't want to just let go and let that band snap back together. We want a control pull back together, 2 more reps. Pull apart, squeeze it, and relax. Last time, big squeeze, and relax. All right, you can keep that same band if you want to. We're going to go up overhead. We're going to pull that band apart, grab some tension. Should feel a little bit of activation through your lats. All right, those big pulling muscles in our back. All right, think about kind of turning your armpits facing me. Okay, feet hip width apart. We're gonna drop down into 10 overhead squats. All right, what we're looking for is to maintain stability of that overhead position. Trying to keep those arms from moving. All right, don't want to get farther out. All right, don't want to get those arms farther together or falling forward. Want to be consistent in that overhead position. All right, 5 more to go. If you can't help it, I want you to really try to move at the pace that I'm moving at here. This is very intentional. We have a very slight pause at the bottom. And it's our last one. We'll go one more for good luck. Drop it down and stand it up. Cool. All right, should feel that a lot in the back of the arm, especially coming after those pull aparts. All right, so let's go ahead and grab that big weight. In that goblet position, we're going 6 curtsy squats each side. So down and back. Bring that foot back together. All right, I want you to focus on that knee. I'm on my left foot here. Make sure that knee doesn't get too twisted. All right, making sure that we're keeping tension towards the outside of that knee. We got one more. Boom. All right, switching sides. Back and across. Squat down. Back up. If you can, really focus on driving through that whole front foot back up to standing. Again, I want you to think about this as a modified single leg squat. If you can do this in the last one, if you can do this in a full balance, right, without touching that other foot down, go for it. All more power to you. All right. Grab that band. If you don't have the band, if you have 2 light dumbbells, if you want to work with that, you can do this with that power band as well. Just getting down, crossing it, and we still have our row. All right, so we got 10 good rows here. All right, you can grab lower down, add a little bit more effort into that. All right, so I want you to think about pulling up, squeeze it for a second, and controlling it back down. All right, just as important here on that pull is that stability through the core, through that back. Good, make sure that neck doesn't get too chicken neck, right? Not reaching that neck forward. Try to stay nice and stable. 2 more. And relax, good. All right, so got a little weight. We're gonna go up for that lateral plank. So we're gonna do 30-second hold, 1 on each side. All right, so we'll get up in that lateral plank, and we've got 30 seconds. Again, if you want that extra challenge, we can work to rotate that weight up overhead. All right, so just as you're kind of pressing up to hold that weight overhead, I want you to think about actually kind of pressing that arm down into the ground. All right, so make sure that we're not getting slouchy, holding up strong. Got the last 3, 2, 1, and we'll go ahead, flip it around onto that other side, whatever side you start with. I'm not that worried about, because we will do both sides. All right, so we'll get 30 seconds going here. Trying to keep that weight right over that shoulder, maybe a little bit harder on one side than the other. That's to be expected. I feel like I just need to hold this one. This one's hard enough on this side. All right, about halfway there. Got a few more reps, or a few more seconds going. Hold strong for me. Coming in. Last 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right. Not bad, not bad. We're going to go our second round here. So we're going to get back to that band. Everything looks good. We got 1 round in the books. So this round, if you want to try the other band, if you have it, you want to try a little bit tighter grip, a little bit closer together, it's a little bit more difficult. Or if yours is hard enough, go ahead and walk those hands out. As we go through this whole thing, if you find that the reps are getting harder, go ahead and loosen it up, especially with the band. It's easier to kind of adjust on the fly than you do with dumbbells, okay? If you have dumbbells, do your best. You can drop a couple reps down, go for it. All right, so pull aparts, we're looking for 8 good pull aparts, squeezing each time, bring it back together. See, I was a little too cocky on that one. A little too heavy for that first rep. All right, squeeze those shoulder blades. That's your prime objective, pulling those shoulder blades together. Yeah, I want you to notice my shoulders are not creeping up towards my ears. I'm keeping them kind of pulled down and back. Getting good range of motion each pull. I'm gonna get 2 more. Big squeeze. Last one. All right, that was tough one. All right, we'll get that band up and overhead. I'm gonna get a little bit looser. All right, band up and overhead. Like I said, I want to pull apart. Positioning on this, I guess, think about reaching your hands straight up. I know you can't really see this, but my hands were straight up here and straight out to the side here. Kind of meet in the middle. All right, I want you to cheat a little bit more towards that straight up, I guess. Cool, so that's the position we're looking for here. Feet in your squat stance. We'll go ahead and drop it down. Looking for 10 good squats. All right, this is a real good one to see where your mobility is. If you need to pull those arms just a little bit farther apart for a little bit more comfort, you can. But again, I want your focus to be that consistency of the length of the band. All right, try not to pull any bit more as you get low. So if I were here and I were to finish here, there's a little inconsistency there. All right, we got 2 more squats. Over shoulders or armpits at me. Last one. And back up. Good. Arms burn a little bit. Mine sure are. All right, curtsy squats. Grab that weight. Modified single leg squats. Get after it. 6 each side. If you count better than I do, good job. There's 2. Putting all that weight into that front foot. I want you to think about this foot almost being weightless. 3. Good. We got 1 more that side. Maybe that was 7. I don't know. It's okay. 1 more rep. Never killed anybody. Go ahead and switch that other side. All right, this is not going to be a lunge. Remember, I want like 90% of that weight in that front foot. Lunges were usually about 60-40 towards that front foot. I think that's number 5. 1 more time. Bad at counting and talking, and relax. So your lunges, when you step straight back, all right, you're about 60% of your weight on that front foot, 40% of that weight on that back foot. On that curtsy, this is really just kind of your stabilizing foot. All right, we're putting a little bit of rotation in it as well, but think about you're kind of just touching with your toe. Majority of that weight is in that front foot as you stand up with it. All right, so we got those. We're gonna grab that band back. We're gonna go for those bent over rows or those flies. Remember, the only differentiating factor between those two is the weights you have at your disposal. If you can make it a little bit heavier and go for that row, and that is the preferred position. All right, pull those elbows back, trying to get those hands to those hips, and really focus on keeping that chest down on the ground. Just like those pull aparts, let's try to get a little bit of a squeeze at the top. We got 5 more. Good, nice and strong. Remember, keep those shoulders away from those ears. 2 more. Really nice and tight. And relax. All right. tangled up. All right, and our side planks. 30 seconds each. Start whichever side you're more comfortable on. I'm going on that left side first. All right. Got a big shine. All right, go ahead and press it up. 30-second hold. Let's do it. Nice strong in. If you want to add that rotation up above, you can. One side is likely going to be a little bit more stable than the other. That's fine. I want you pulling that abdomen in nice and tight. If you're not feeling it in your core, then you make an adjustment there first before we get crazy with the weights. Last 5 seconds. Last 3, 2, 1. Drop that down, switching sides. Ready? 2, 1. Bring it up. Find that position first. Pull that abdomen in. I want you to make sure that that elbow that you're down is not out past that shoulder. All right, same thing with that dumbbell up overhead. Shouldn't be past your shoulder in any direction. It should be directly above. All right, that's going through that whole arm across the shoulders into the elbow, which is then in contact with the ground. We've got last 3, 2, 1, and down. All right. Give you a quick water break. All right, we've got one more thing going on today. We're gonna have a little arm blaster finisher here. All right. So this is meant to be done with the handle tubing. If you don't have the handle tubing, well, get what you can out of the Superband, or of course if you have the dumbbells, we can do that as well. I'm going to do 2 arms together, but you can also alternate this with your arms. All right. So we're going to set the clock for 2 minutes. We've got 3 movements. We're going to get real bodybuilding style. All right. So we're going to get those feet together on that band. All right. We're getting bicep curls. All right. We're doing front raises. All right. And then we're doing hinged over tricep kickbacks. Okay. All 3 movements are single joint movements. All right. Your biceps and your triceps, you're just flexing those elbows. Front raises, just flexing the shoulder. Okay. You're ready to rock. We're going to do 6 reps of each. I want you to go at your own pace, best you can, best quality movement that you can as well. All right. You're ready for it. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, and go. We're going to go 6 good curls. Then we're going to get 6 good front raises at your own pace. And then hinged over 6 good tricep extensions. All right. You can adjust where that band is. The closer your feet are together, the easier that band is going to be. The farther your feet are apart, the heavier those movements are going to be. All right. So we're going to try to get as many rounds of the 6s as we can. Whew. Try not to let that band pull you back down towards the ground. Just keep it moving, folks. Keep it moving. Make adjustments on the fly if you need to. 6 of each. I'll move those feet a little closer together, a little bit easier. We're just gonna have a little pump to finish the day, folks. A little bit from the side. Make sure we're standing tall. We're not arching our back. All right, we're actively pulling those shoulders up. Ooh. And if we need to alternate sides, that's going to be a little bit easier than doing them together. That's fine. So you notice I'm just moving at the elbow. We got about 30 seconds, folks. Challenge yourself to get one more round in there. If you're doing the singles, we're still shooting for 6 of each. And we're going to get the last 3 seconds, 2, 1, and time. All right, that's going to do it for today, folks. Hopefully your arms are nice and thoroughly blasted. Awesome job. We're back for full body blast tomorrow. If you're hanging around, we have strength flow in just about 5 minutes. If you want to hang around and mobilize a little bit, hopefully my shoulders aren't too tired. But awesome work today, folks. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, always let us know. We're here to serve you guys and you ladies. So let us know what you want to see. See you in a minute. We'll see you next week. Eventually. Have a good night.